So 168, 172, 221. Looks like we're back on and ready to go. At 221. The big difference, even though Plesher certainly not giving up. Egger went for it. It's okay though. It's that lead is all but okay. MVP of this one is definitely Elena Rimmer for Marion. 221. Here has to be almost perfect. Ball's got to see it about 3-4 down lane. Plesher shoots 180. That's an important double again, just for the confidence. Vujovic on the other side. Another look at a bowling ball here for Shakira. .155, 877. It's going to be more than enough for the victory. In just about every traditional game, there has been one player with a huge game that gets you 220 plus. Earlier today, Kylie Olsen had 201, but she was surrounded by 3 additional 190 games. Yesterday, Carroll's Hannah Bartlett shot 226 in an 854, 771 victory over Elmhurst. Marion had 205 from Kylie Olsen in an 870 to 801 victory again over Aurora yesterday. That was last night in the traditional. Of course, Aurora went on to win that match. Then yesterday morning, Allison Will had 226 in their opening traditional point victory, 843 to 808 over Aurora. Final tally 806.
239.
We're headed to the 5-game Baker portion, folks. If Marion wins the 5-game Baker, they will then win the mega match and then force the, if necessary, best of 7. So we'll keep it right here because Baker is about to begin. Coach Rich McElmill talking with his team over on 29 and 30. The team gets a couple of minutes. Kind of reset. Let me go back to my notes, but I believe Aurora in each match has lost the traditional. They lost against Carroll yesterday morning, and they lost against Marion yesterday or last night. This morning or this afternoon, they lose the traditional again. So they have lost every single traditional point. But as a team, they're just a much better Baker team, at least on this pattern. That has been proven because they have won 5-game Baker and best of 7 Baker in each of those respective matches. Is our official Sean Washington trying to get a full rack on lane 30. Sean is a former collegiate coach himself. Used to be the head coach at Valparaiso University for several years. Standout high school coach as well. I believe led Lake Central to multiple state championships in girls bowling. This heard coach who is Coach Mueller for Marion, #1 seed. Said it looks like they're going to begin on the left lane. Looks like lane 30, though, needs some attention. So with that said, we'll take a break. What you guys got in this this title match here? We got a Marion fans? Do we have Aurora fans? Who we got here? All right, so lane 30 is being handled. Pins are being reset, taken care of above the machine. I think there probably were a few stuck just above. And now we need a 9-pin. All right, looks like we're ready for competition. All right, out the gates, 245 for Giddings. Early miscue for Giddings. Uh-oh, not in open play. All right, so the arrows just need to be reversed, be placed into open play. So with that said, it'll be just a few seconds. Kylie Olson will need to have that 9 count either just added to lane 29. It's got a hook. Slow start here for the Sabres. They have gone open, and now just trying to delete the old 9 count there on lane 30. So Grace Leonard can now check in. Elena, who shot 221. Crossover on the single pin. All right, Marion is on the board. You hate to see both teams kind of come out to this point. Yeah, they got done the traditional, then they had to wait. Lane 30 was being worked on. Then they start. Then the open play needs to be changed. And so both teams kind of, you have no energy to kind of start. But this right here plays into the favor of Aurora. And one thing I complimented them about yesterday was their ability to kind of create their own energy. And sometimes that's very difficult to do when a team is struggling. But they found a way to do that yesterday. It's got to hit the pocket. Aurora wearing their they're wearing the royal blue, just kind of solid royal blue today. The turnaround is still good. Emily knows when she takes care of a 10-pin. Wastes no time making her way back to her squad. Well, I'm curious if this left lane is starting to be a little bit iffy. Could be time to try to move away actually from the gutter now. Potentially, though, it could just be the left lane. 5-pin is going to remain. Check and see what Anne-Marie's throwing. That looked like urethane. And it is. And so this is where it could get tricky. The players got to start kind of paying attention and be like, okay, we got urethane going down the middle of the lane. Time to pay attention. It actually might be time to get into something stronger just for that reason. All right, spare made. And Aurora with the lead here early game one, the 5-game Baker. Marion still looking for, in fact, both teams looking for their first strike. In a low-scoring affair so far, neither team yet to strike. Aurora, beg your pardon, has a 20-pin lead here in game one. That could strike, though. The low-scoring affairs and kind of the slugfests, if you will, they favor Aurora. And for the simple fact that all they need is a couple of things just to kind of go right, and then they can get on a roll because they can kind of create their own energy. I think that's how they've kind of sneak up on a lot of teams. It's fair. Marion is super talented. They've certainly got the players. Just trying to figure out what's happening via the transition. Thought Jocelyn Egger bowled probably her best of the tournament against Carroll this morning. But she looked a bit more comfortable. And again, the lanes, I thought, were in a much better position, or much better spot, I should say, in regards to breaking them down, playing them right. Both teams kind of playing them in a similar fashion. There we go. Now 168 is the max for Marion. Aurora still has 189 out there. Oh, she posted that one. Oh, Alexander posted that one. And that's the energy starter right there. If Alyssa Alexander does anything positive, her energy level coming back to her team is going to be at 120. Big double. Oh. Wrapped in. Plesher. She will leave a 6-10. 148 with a strike on the fill for Marion. Official tally is 147. In Conference USA news, Wichita State has defeated Jacksonville State in match 1 in the mega match. And so their best of 7 will take place at about 1:15 p.m. Central, again on ESPN Plus. Big spare there for Anne Marie. So strike here puts them at 156, and they would have a 9-pin lead. Both of those teams are going to go to the NCAA tournament. But Wichita State could improve their overall RPI, of course, by winning the championship. And that might have some effect on where they're placed in regards to which regional. Now, they're located in Kansas, so have to think that they might be going to Texas no matter what, but who knows? Looks like a ball change here for Anne Marie. .153. It's a 6-pin lead after 1 for Aurora. But again, they're experienced in this realm. This is where they've gotten all of their wins. They have won every single Baker portion of these mega matches against every opponent they bowled to this point. Yesterday against Carroll in the morning, last night against Marion. This is the second time they're bowling Marion here in this tournament. And of course, last year these two teams met for the conference championship. Big shot there for Hansik. Aurora needed some energy. Looks like somebody either missed a hand or missed a face on that high five. And, you know, maybe that's what the team needs. The old accidental high five to the face that gets the team all loose. They get smiling. That was a big ball change there for Abby Giddings. Or Addie, I beg your pardon. Looks like something that's a little bit stronger for Giddings. Now into her hands, ball change. Winner misses that spare. But Aurora with the early lead. Olsen now struggling with that carry. Alexander misses the head pin right. It looks like she may have tried something there. This one's got low scoring written all over it. The first team who could potentially figure out a way to just remove themselves from missing the head pin, that's what's bugging everybody at the moment. Uh-oh, favorable break. Oh! Pleasure. Maybe that could be the break of the tournament right there. The way she just closed her eyes and like exhaled on that, and is now kind of basking in that a little bit of meditation. You can tell they're at that point to where lanes are doing something weird, trying to figure some stuff out. But they just got to hit the head pin. I know that sounds simple, but that's what each team is now trying to do. They got to simplify it. Because now it kind of started to look like what we saw yesterday, where teams just kind of struggled and really battled their way. Wow, 3, 6, 9, 10. This is kind of that calm before the storm, if you will, right? And in this case, the players are hoping the storm is coming, and that storm is filled with tons of strikes that will rain down and hopefully pour into Suburbanite Bowl in Westmont, Illinois. We can see the difference, though, in lane play and how Marion and Carroll both, kind of set up their pair. And you always got to think long term, right? You know you're going to be on a pair of lanes for a couple of hours. So it's going to transition multiple times. Marie got to shake that off quickly. Get up, get up. I would keep keep an eye on what Marion is doing here. If Addie's, excuse me, if her ball motion starts to get better. Uh-oh, hard way. Let's take a look at what this shot will bring here. All right. It is not what she wanted by any stretch. I think this is me guessing, but I'm thinking what the coaching staff for Marion wants to do is say, okay, specifically for Addie, right, the ball that she's been using, for whatever reason, kind of misses the spot every now and then. And then they go, so, okay, let's try to get her something that's a bit stronger. And so the ball can kind of read the front part of the lane. It'll read sooner, get into a roll a little bit quicker. That's my guesstimation. Saw the Enriquez split in the 7th. And Aurora, boy, in really some real trouble. I think Aurora needs to shift everything right as well. You know, whoever can parallel again, parallel right. Yesterday we were talking about teams paralleling left. And that can be an option too. We could just kind of play the hold in the middle of the lane and just kind of throw it at the head pin to some degree. But what you're looking for is friction. And we know that the friction is closer to the gutter on this pattern. And how you line up to hit that friction is really what makes the difference. And speaking of differences, right now Marion has the overall lead. Again, they won the traditional point. Coach Miguel Mills standing up to watch Flesher's shot here. So I do think there's a spot now that is hooking early, right past the foul line. And where the majority of bowling balls from both teams are hitting first, kind of at release point. Might see Christine Ritchie back into the lineup here in a moment. Of course, Ritchie, it's very rare that we haven't seen that 7-player lineup. And Ritchie was substituted out in frame 8 of the traditional in favor of Heidi Enriquez. So we've been talking about the 7-player Baker system, but it's been 6 so far here through almost 2 full games. Okay. Big spare. Even the Marion fans, like, hey, I'm trying to help rally the team. The good news is this is game 2 of 5. Long way to go. It's the most energy that Marion has had here this game. Well, if it's not one thing for Brenna, it's another. In this case, though, just like we talked about yesterday, it's March, survive, and advance. And this was a survival of game number 2. That one was tough. Not going to sugarcoat it for you, folks. That one was tough for both teams. And it's one of those, all right, we all see it. You know it. I know it. Let's get it off the screen and move on. But in the process, Marion has taken the lead. Marion now holds a 25-pin lead. Brenda Shakira being a leader. This is maybe the most animated I've seen her. And for me personally, as a former college bowler, I want my best player to kind of be in my face. I want that. Now, that's just me. Not everybody takes to that type of communication. But I think, obviously, the players here on this team have the utmost respect for Brenna and what she brings to the table. And I'm anticipating a quick response here, much like bowling balls, quick response. And I think it starts right here with Addie Giddings. That ball actually might hook too much. It's hard to tell, but it looks good. And then it got to about the first tracer down lane, and it just said, whoa, I'm going left. Great shot there by Ann Honsick. I think I like her, this is me talking, I think I like her reactive bowling ball just a little bit better, because I want the ball that allows her the most miss room. She's got to be very perfect with urethane on this pattern. But I certainly understand you don't want a ball to overhook, and typically speaking, urethane's not going to do that, at least down lane. Kylie makes a ball change. Kind of gives us the where's that been look. And the Sabres out with an early double. Again, immediate response to the leadership of Shakira. Wasn't a bad shot from Grace. I talked about how yesterday for her, she got slower ball speed. And that sometimes can help her, sometimes it can hurt. It helped a little bit yesterday because there was a lot of oil being pushed down the lane. Obviously, you saw the difference there. It hurt a little bit. I think that might be more bowling ball at this point. All right. Looks like a ball change from Elena. And all of a sudden, Marion looks like a completely different team. I'll give you a quick story, folks. When I was a senior in my final year of college bowling, I bowled for Lindenwood University. And I was one of the leaders on the team. We had really three senior leaders, if you will. But our best player, his name was Shea Bittenbender. You may have heard of him, may not. Shea actually and his team just at the Open Championships just took over the lead in Baton Rouge. If you follow the Open Championships, also known as Nationals. Eggert, another ball change there. That one was much cleaner, and it performed like a clean bowling ball, though. But at least she saw some level of reaction. Well, from the story perspective, round one of the Intercollegiate Team Championships, which is the USBC Collegiate National Championship, we were trailing. How about Alyssa Alexander going Brooklyn? We were trailing 3-0 and in danger of being swept in the first round. And we were a team that won the championship 2 seasons ago and finished third the previous year. And Shea turned around. He got us in a huddle, and he said, he said a lot of things that I cannot repeat on the air. But the message essentially was, we are not effing losing. That's what Shea Bittenbender told us. And he basically, hey, we're not going out like this. This is not what we worked for. This is not what we worked all season long for. It's not why we got up at 6 a.m. Or I'm sorry, at 5 a.m. to have 6 a.m. practices. And so what I just watched from Shakira brought me instantly back to college bowling huddles, and those moments really mean a lot. And then not only if you're going to then talk about the message, you've got to bring it too. And she comes out and strikes as well. 4 out of 5 for the Sabres. Giddings has got to throw one good here to really see if this bowling ball is the right one. Forgot about the USBC Masters starts today. Wow. Holy snikes. World Series of Bowling wraps up. I think everybody had basically a travel day for those who are still competing. But Aurora doesn't want to allow what happened last year to happen again. You know, to walk in on Sunday, be undefeated, only to have Marion come in, win the mega match, and then get to the if necessary and win that too. This is a pivotal game here for Aurora, and it has now nothing to do with Marion, right? Because Marion is going to do what Marion's going to do. But if you're Aurora, okay, you have to control what you can control. And that means you cannot allow open frames to get the best of you. Anne Hansen. Annie. I think that should be the new cheer from the Aurora team for Annie Hansen. If Aurora, if you're any fans listening, you guys got to tell them to implement that for next season. That's a good 9. A champion will be crowned, folks. And a representative of the CCIW will advance to the NCAA tournament. Now, here's a scenario, right? Let's just take a look at what's happening around, again, college bowling. But yesterday I talked about RPI. And that's a very important measurement in almost every NCAA sport. You hear a lot about it in basketball, of course, strength of schedule, things of that nature. And NCAA, Elena, don't forget, she shot 221 in the traditional game. The postseason format is very much kind of structured in a basketball-like way, where strength of schedule, wins against top 10 opponents, wins against teams ranked 11th through 25th, and losses for that matter. All of those things play a role basically into a team's overall resume. So last year, Marion, I don't have their RPI from a season ago, but they did win the conference. They did not have to play or be involved in a play-in. Oh! She was about due, though. Honestly, Jocelyn was about due for that kind of break. Coach Craig. Eggert will remove what was an attention star off the rack. Meanwhile, Alexander, 4, 6, 7. So back to Marion here, who's got a chance to get into the 220s with 2 more in the 10th and really separate themselves here. Six into the 10. If this was Jacksonville State, that would have been a high-ya. You know, if Marion wins this and they go on to win the if necessary, you can look back on the huddle I described where the best player on the team said, and I don't know exactly what she said, but I had an idea. And I told you my story. Those kind of things do matter, especially in competition. Big 4-bagger for Marion. I think it's kind of that reality, too, where every now and then you get on a pattern where the break point tells you should be, 2, 3, 4 board. Your mind really says, nah, that's not really right. I could be like 6, 7, 8. And your bowling ball keeps telling you it's wrong. Now, I tell you what, those last 2 shots, that did show that she had a couple of boards of misroom. That last one, though, was a little bit more direct. 222 might just be the difference because up until that game, neither team was showing anything of those capabilities. I mean, just like that. In one game, Marion gets within 60 pins of their 2-game total. Or 70 pins, I beg your pardon. And now they've got 514 after 3. I tell you, Aurora needs to, it's obviously clear what they need to do, and that's figure out a way to strike, but it's not even about the strikes at the moment. They just got to figure out a way to consistently hit the pocket, and that means sometimes you got to do something that's very uncomfortable, and you got to line up in a situation or a spot on the lane where it's not necessarily about striking, and it is really about just hitting the pocket and then trusting your spare game to make up the difference. And I think on this pattern, like we saw yesterday, there comes a point where you say, okay, we're trying to strike and that's not working. We've got to just allow ourselves the opportunity to hit the pocket and then just kind of go from there, almost like a back to basic situation. Because now they have found themselves with an early 6-pin lead. Both teams, again, low scoring through the first 2 games. They had a 6-pin lead after 153 to Marion's 147. Marion then shot 145, but Aurora shot 114. So they lost the lead in that game, and of course now Marion shoots 222, and all of a sudden the lead for Marion is now 112 pins. But if I'm Marion, I don't want to get my foot off the gas. Like, I want Brendan Shakira to tell me, get my act together after every single game, because we want to see more 222s from the Sabres. Sometimes you can kind of get caught up in what's happening for both teams, and it's like this slugfest of low scores, which is what we saw in the first couple of games, until Shakira said, okay, that's enough. I hear the same intensity from Alyssa Alexander for Aurora in their huddle as they get to the left lane. Let's see if Alyssa's words will hold some value here for the Spartans of Aurora. Lead is now 112 pins, 514 to 402. Annie. Now, to give credit to Annie, she was the only player on Aurora to strike in both of her frames in the previous game. And to be fair, I think she's kind of had the best look overall. For Aurora in particular. Oh, wow. I was just about to say, that 10-pin went as far right as you can go before falling off the pin deck. And it was going to be a difficult spare because it was going to be so far off spot. Nice opening frame for Annie Hansick, the freshman from Manuka High School. I was telling a RPI story about Marion. I'll finish that here in a moment. Well, not the break that they wanted, but again, at this point, right, balls hit the pocket, you just live with the results. Anne Marie just went down and got herself a different bowling ball. She looks a little upset, too. I like that. Bowl mad. Won't be too mad, though. Just to throw a good shot, but it's okay to bowl mad every now and then. For some people, it kind of helps wake them up. All right, Grace looking to make the 2-7. Slow ball speed should help that one hook, but not enough. I talked about Annie Hansick. She's got the best look for Aurora as the lone lefty on the team. There's Alexander. Alyssa's doing everything that she can. And I talked about her energy levels, right? When she's going good, I think the team as a whole is going good. And so even though she's not the anchor player, but in some ways, right, that's where her true value might lie on this team. You cannot substitute high energy. Good shot. Oh, big ball change there for Jocelyn Eggert. And some looks to be a little bit weaker, and she moved a little further right. Looks kind of like an Ocean vibe. Unsure, though. Coach McElmeal looks like a pretty loyal gentleman. But this is where you might have to consider making that lineup change. At least until Anne-Marie can kind of find something that's a bit more consistent. You're already down 112 pins. You're trying to make a comeback. If she can find something consistent, and obviously you can certainly move her back down. Maybe add in Ronsick in there, but it could be time. I wouldn't remove her from the lineup by any stretch, but I would move her in the lineup just so she can try to get a bit more comfortable. All right, I don't think she's comfortable right now. She's kind of in between bowling balls. A lot going through her mind, I'm sure. Richie back into the lineup. Good shot. Richie, who won the Elite 26 award on behalf of Aurora. Delaney Vogt won the Elite 26 award on behalf of Marion. Coach McElmeal talking with Anne-Marie. That's the difficult portion, obviously, about coaching, is where you're trying to put people in the best possible positions. I talked about the 7-player Baker system. Now it's working again. Richie back into the lineup in frame number 6. Enriquez in frame 7. And Hansick in frame 1. This situation, I think you got to have Annie bowling as many frames as possible. She's got the best look on the team, in my opinion. For Marion, it's simple. Limit the open frames. They've got a 112-pin lead. Don't make any mistakes that will help Aurora, of course. Maybe make a final game stand. The team with the highest pinfall after 4, or the winning team after 4, essentially, gets to choose which lane they will finish on. So we'll see what Marion elects to do here. Week 7. But that's okay. Wow. Boy, Alexander just can do something that really no one else, maybe on either team, can do. She figured out a way, and it's just natural, right? It's just what she does, just how she bowls. But she can get it to the gutter, right? Which is exactly what she did there. Ball came screaming back. Didn't anticipate that. Every missed spare from Marion is a small confidence boost for Aurora. Elena has been CCIW Bowler of the Week a few times this season. Averaged 200 even did Elena at the Flyer Classic. That was hosted, of course, by Lewis University. She finished 39th in that event. Had a nice 89.5 fill percentage and struck 48% of the time. That allowed her to earn the CCIW Student Athlete of the Week award again for the second time. This was back in February. Marion has had 4 players, or excuse me, 3 different players, I beg your pardon. No, I'm sorry, 4. No, it's 3. Rimmer, Eggert. I think it is 4 because Shakira has been named CCIW Bowler of the Week as well. Speaking of Eggert, here she is. This will be very difficult for Coach Rich, too, from Aurora because, you know, if the deficit doesn't really change and you get to the first couple of frames and it looks like it's just not going to go the way you want it, obviously, especially, you know, you're trying to make a huge comeback. Right. You can say, there you go. For Anne-Marie, I feel like that one might have been a little bit of a prove-it shot. It's like, hey, Coach might be thinking about maybe making a move here, moving me up. I got to show him I can handle it. I'm ready to stay and get prepared for whatever is necessary or what's next. And it could be the if necessary. This game really just kind of got away from Aurora. It started well, but the split in the second, missed the single pin in the 5th, split in the 7th, open in the 9th. You know, those things, if you fix those things, this is easily a game of the 2-0s. I told you when she brought that bowling ball down that she was a little bit upset. Speaking of Anne-Marie, bowl mad. I think she's bowling a little mad right now. I think, to be honest, she's pissed off. Imagine if they shoot too well this game, they close the gap just enough where you feel like you've got a legit chance going into game 5. 167 as Anne Marie strikes out in the 10th. I can't wait for her to listen to this broadcast back. Gonna send me a note like, I heard that maybe you thought the coach was thinking about maybe moving me up in the lineup. But we were on the same page because I'm like, hey, I'm going to get a ball. I'm going to make some things happen. Some pins were gained. The lead is now under 100. It's 97 pins. Marion has moved to the left lane and already underway. Here is Annie Hansick. Oh! Hansick finished 6th as a high school senior at the Illinois Girls State Championships for Minooka. She averaged 211.5 for 12 games. Finished 6th individually, and the team finished 2nd. That's behind Joliet West. Just to give you an idea, Ariana Araujo is a Division I athlete. She bowls for Louisiana Tech. She won state in 2024. Caitlin Ruzak, she finished 3rd that year. She too is a Division I athlete. She bowls for Arkansas State. Olsen, how about it? So I say that to say that Annie Hansick in some really good company, right? And I don't know what her offer sheet looked like, but I feel like the possibility of her bowling at the Division I level probably was on the table. And certainly she chose Aurora for many reasons. I don't know what those are, but just goes to show, like, you know, Hansick can play. Choke and Elena Rimmer. Sabres are coming out and doing exactly what you would want them to do if you're a fan of this team. And that's, in this essence, going to leave no doubt. Eggert, bang. And this one, moving in the direction, of course, of the if necessary. Shakira, I think she's kind of had the last couple of, she might be what, on a 3, maybe 4 strike string? It could be 5 actually at this point. For Aurora, this is important to keep that fight because they will still need this fight. The if necessary will take place on the same pair of lanes. And so ultimately, what would be a kind of a tie-break scenario, right, in regards to a best of 7. In this case, it's going to be the if necessary. And Marion has made it necessary. Again, don't go anywhere, folks. It's going to take one more match before a CCIW champion is decided. Now, because it's on the same pair of lanes, that favors Marion at this point. They've been able to put together big games, but, they're in the midst of one now. They shot 222 on the left lane. Okay, open frame there, still 220 max. Aurora utilized these next few frames to some degree as practice for this best of 7 if necessary. Egger now has firmly, I think, the right ball in her hands. Shakira looks like she's got more room, as we talked about, on the left lane. Can Alexander find something consistent? Can Emily Plesher find something consistent? All important items. They are to defeat Marion and the if necessary. It looks like they do enjoy the right lane, so that could be favorable for them. Zoe Burr getting some time here in the 10th frame for Marion. That's good for Anne Marie, too. She's still hitting the pocket. She struck out in the 10th frame in game 4. And that's 6-3 back in the 5th. But you just want to see her again in the 1-3. 209, the final tally. $875, pretty much on par with their traditional total of $877. Despite the loss here for Aurora, I think Anne Marie kind of being upset, being very frustrated. Made a ball change late. It's not going to have an impact on this Baker final tally, but it could have a significant impact in the best of 7, which is now winner take all. And when it's on the line in these couple of games, you anticipate a couple, at least one, to go to the 10th frame. Now you feel like your anchor player. This is the first team all CCIW selection, folks. All right, so this is a good player. They need her. And I feel like she feels now she's comfortable, has an idea which bowling ball to throw clearly. Looks like an IQ Tour Emerald. And now in this best of 7, I feel like they can play. So here we go. Winner take all for the CCIW Championship. Official tally, 875 to 742. We will reset the scoring monitors. Aurora having a quick convo. That's the benefit, of course, of being undefeated. Right, they do have the if necessary in the back pocket. You don't want to go to it, but if you have to, it's there. And for Marion, they're simply trying to do what they did last year. They had to do it the hard way last year, and they're trying to do it again. Beat Aurora twice. Last year they did it to win the CCIW. This year, just defeated them in the mega match, and now to the if necessary best of 7. The MEAC finals are live. North Carolina A&T and the UAB. Shout out to Coach Michelle Cruz and company. Earning a spot in the MEAC finals right now. North Carolina A&T leads 2-0 over UAB. Again, you can watch that on ESPN+. In the Conference USA Championship, it was, I believe, 2-1, and Jacksonville State was inching closer to winning game 3. We have reached the 2 o'clock hour, 5 minutes past the hour. 2:05 p.m. Central Time. Customary break in the action here for teams to prepare themselves. See probably some Snapchat photos being taken and sent. It's our social media generation of young athletes here. So we are down to it, folks. It's a best of 7 for the conference championship. Winner advances to the NCAA tournament. So here's where the RPI portion comes into play. Marion was the, I believe, 38th ranked team, what I saw yesterday on NCAA.org. So if Marion wins, the likelihood that they would be involved in a play-in, I don't think it's too likely at this moment. All right, so Marion again, 37th through March 16th. So that was after the Music City Classic. Of course, Marion did go to that event. And I think trying to improve that RPI as best as possible, especially in regards to strength of schedule. With that said, though, all right, 37th. So the likelihood of them being involved in a play-in is, I don't think it's too high. That's if they win. However, if Aurora wins, their RPI ranking is 54th. I would put them near, let's see, Prairie View, for example, who is going to vie for the SWAC Conference Championship later today. So if Aurora wins, that might put them in a play-in-like situation. It might change things up just a little bit in regards to regionals. Now, this is what I'm talking about, has everything to do with the NCAA tournament, nothing to do with what is happening, of course, immediately right now. But this is what could happen based on who wins the CCIW. Marion wins, they probably bypass the play-in, and whatever regional, of course, they would be selected to, it would simply be one of the 4 teams there, and competition will begin with the regular schedule. If Aurora wins, based on, again, that RPI, then they might possibly be in a play-in scenario and would have to face another team essentially to advance directly into that regional. And the way you would think about that is kind of the first 4, the way the NCAA basketball tournaments handle the first 4. So you got a few teams on the same seed line, and of course they play one another for the right to face, whatever team it is in the second round. So that's what's at stake for these couple of players, or these teams, excuse me. But you got to win to be in. Marion has broken the huddle. Aurora trying to sneak in a quick snack. This is for the conference championship, ladies and gentlemen. The first to win 4 games will win the CCIW and advance to the NCAA tournament. Top seed Marion, 3rd seed Aurora. Here we go. How about that? Kylie Olson. Just in case anyone is confused, I appreciate that question from Evan, who could be related to Emily Plesher. This is the if necessary match. Marion did win the first mega match 2-0 by winning the traditional point and the 5-game Baker point. And so just the because the word tiebreaker was used, it probably caused a little bit of confusion. We don't want to confuse you. So I asked the crew to just go ahead and remove that word. And so this is the if necessary because Marion has to defeat Aurora twice. We have the if necessary best of 7. It is a winner-take-all scenario. The first team to win 4 games wins the conference and advances to the NCAA tournament. Maybe. Aurora, of course, just suffered their first loss of the tournament, so technically now 2-1 in the event. Marion now 2-1 after defeating Carroll to open up competition Elmhurst, I beg your pardon, yesterday morning. Losing to Aurora last night, and of course coming back here this afternoon and then defeating them. Here we are in the if necessary. Carroll, who bowled this morning, lost a heartbreaker to Marion. They lost a 5-game Baker by 2 pins. And of course lost the match 2-0. They were trying to win that, extended to the tiebreaker in the best of 7. Or it very well could be Carroll against Marion. I'm sorry, against Aurora, I beg your pardon. That's a great start. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better start for Aurora. I think the Spartans certainly got the message. Well, we've seen Giddings throw a handful of balls now. This is the third bowling ball that she has thrown here. And this includes the traditional and the 5-game Baker. Oh, Annie Hansick. Again, the team that fills the most frames is going to win. That is the most rudimentary thing you can say in bowling. But literally, that is what it comes down to every single time. You know, as much as we enjoy, oh, how about that? Well, I think that bowling ball might be the one with proper lining up for Giddings. Meanwhile, Heidi coming through in the 7th. But as much as we like to see, you know, teams kind of going into the 10th frame, both on 3-baggers or 4-baggers, it really comes down to which team, you know, from the setup perspective, right, has filled the frame to allow their anchor player to possibly throw the first one or have to double in the 10th, which is what we saw Shakira do against Carroll in the 5-game Baker. She needed to double and get 7. She doubled and got 8. To win by 2, look out. The important news here for Alyssa, she did not lose count, and technically right now, Aurora still has the lead here in game 1. Big thank you to Matthew Hoff, Sports Information Director at Elmhurst. Official title for Matt is the Director of Athletic Communications. Dr. Glenn Bridich has also been on hand to take in some of the action here this week. Of course, following Elmhurst's progress all of yesterday. Elmhurst, as of course the host school, had a lot of key administrators from the athletic department and other faculty. How about Plesher? Talking about picking up a teammate when they needed it most. Big strike in the 9th. And what did I just talk about? The setup in these situations, there's no substitute for your anchor player, and that's typically your best player, but in many cases it's also the player that may be the most lined up. But in many cases, if that setup player doesn't get you going, doesn't give that anchor player something to work with in the 9th, a lot of times what they do in the 10th frame won't matter. So their job is almost equally as important. Anne Marie, you're talking about a confidence boost right here. This one is not over yet with Eggert and Shakira still to go. Crossing over, 3-pin for Anne Marie Rubich. First team all CCIW. She missed one of these earlier. Now to Eggert. His ball reaction has improved. That's got a hook. It's not going to. It's a washout. Still a chance for Marion to sneak out this game. But Rubich has to do her part to make it as difficult as possible. She's going to make this spare first and foremost. Then Eggert has to step up and make this washout. And Shakira would need to step up again and double. Again, the setup frame and the analogies and the examples coming at you full force here in game one. And there it is. So the Sabres can still win this game. All right. Now, the last time she tossed at a 3-pin, Anne-Marie used her plastic ball. That time she used her urethane piece of equipment there. All right, the stage is set again for Shakira. That's got a peel ball. It is not. And Aurora is going to take game one here of this if necessary. Again, they took what happened to them in that 5-game Baker pinfall. I think they took it personally, and I think none more than Anne-Marie. She said, enough's enough. Just like Shakira said after game 2, enough was enough for Marion. They got it together, shot 222, and essentially the rest is history. You know, when you got it all on the line, this is where the true look in the mirror takes place as an athlete. And there's some moments for players who may not have been in these types of moments before, right? Where the nerves kind of settle in, right? You've got to spare or strike or double to win a match. Or even just if you're not even in the anchor spot. And I'm telling you these things because I've experienced it. You know, bowling leadoff, hey, every now and then, the knee starts to shake a little bit, especially as you get deeper into a match. How do you handle those moments? That's what we're going to learn about our two teams here. Super random, folks, but I've got 3 Sharpies here that I've been using. One was like fresh. Man, what happened to Sharpies? I feel like they get dry so quick. I mean, I've got 3 of them here. None of them work. I mean, gracious. What's the guy got to do to get a proper writing utensil around here? Got to go to the old-fashioned pen. Always keep a hotel pen, by the way, in your backpack. Sometimes it saves the day. All right, just the 2-pin there for Addie. But as you can see for Ann Hansick, she's got the washout to deal with. Oh, Hansick with the washout conversion. If Aurora somehow does win this, I think this is where you might say it actually would be, quote unquote, maybe a little bit of an upset. The Sabres won the regular season, 10-2, top seed in the conference. Lost to Aurora last night, but back at it here. Ritchie, frame number 2, is crossing over. Nice shot by Kylie Olson. And now trouble for Reimer. Bang. Another washout conversion, not this time. And it's tournament time, folks. You start to think about all these possibilities and the RPIs and all of this other stuff, right? And so, as I told you before, what could happen if Marion wins? I think they bypass the play-in because their RPI is in the top 40. If Aurora wins, they might be in a play-in because their RPI is in the 50s. So that could be the difference from the NCAA regional perspective. Right, those are things obviously we have to look ahead to, but first we've got to know who's going to be in the tournament. And the same thing, of course, across all of the other conferences that are wrapping up here today. There's going to be all of the conferences who do receive automatic spots. There's at-large bids that will be earned as well. For example, if UAB, University of Alabama, Birmingham, defeats North Carolina A&T in the MEAC championship, that would be one at-large bid that would be essentially removed because it would go to North Carolina A&T as the team that would have been a favorite to win the conference. So it could be a lot of shakeups happening. That NCAA selection committee for women's bowling. Back-to-back opens for Marion. Anne Marie. I think at least with this bowling ball that she has chosen, I think she has a good idea of what it's going to do. Now it's about execution for her. Shakira. All right, spare ball out for the 6-pin. Coach Rich allowing Hansick to remain in the lineup. And now a 2-7. What I mean by that is, of course, if you've been following, you know that they've had all 7 players participate in Baker competition throughout the tournament. But earlier in the day, or I'm sorry, in the early part of their match with Marion, there was a point where I was like, I think Annie needs to be bowling as many frames as possible. 2-7, she's got to try to tackle here. Spare from Giddings in the 6th frame. It's got a chance. How about it? Olsen will carry again, and she has now struck twice here in game 2. Richie. Who wants it more, ladies and gentlemen? I don't know what you're doing at home, whether you're at home. If you're watching in the car, hopefully you're being safe. If you're watching or maybe just listening, you're doing some things around the house, getting ready for dinner, maybe doing a little cleaning, whatever it is. Appreciate you hanging out with us. CCIW championship on the line. And now a 3-10 here for Alexander. And the 1-2-4 ahead for Elena. She will handle. And now if Alexander does not make this 3-10 baby split, Marion will take the lead in this game. That could be a costly open. Now the max score for Aurora is 188. 195 the max score right now for Marion. .245 now. Plesher. Opportunity. Knox. Will she open the door? You bet. Anne Marie's got a chance to send a little bit of a message here. If she can step up and throw 2 strikes here in this 10th frame, that would be a message sent that Aurora is not here to play any games. They are not here for the play. Max score still 182 for Marion. Need some help? Get some help. Marion still with a chance to win this game. But it starts with a Shakira strike. She's going to need to double no matter what. Bang. So here's the situation. If Anne Marie does not strike here, Shakira will have a chance to step up, strike, and a couple of pins on the field to win game 2 for Marion. If Anne Marie strikes, she will just need pin count. That's going left again. 1, 3, 6, 10. And now Shakira. and a must-have. That's through the nose. Okay, so let's do some quick bowling math. Now by pin count, Shakira just needs spare here, so that's 172. Anne-Marie has to get 3 here. If she gets 3, they win by 1. And this is not the easiest thing to do here. You can chop it. She gets some extra direction from Coach Rich. Well, this could be the most important spare of the season for Aurora. And Coach Rich had to take a moment. He's got to step away. She needs 3. If she gets 3, they win the game by 1. 2, they tie at 172. If she gets 1, they lose. She got 1. And they lose by 1. $172 to 171, and well, I got to tell you, you hope that is not the game that costs Aurora a championship. Three was a winner, 2 was a tie, and again, 1 was going to lose the game for Aurora. And now Marion is on the board. That's the kind of stuff that gets the opponent kind of fired up a little bit. We'll see what happens here. How about Hansick, though? I tell you, of the players I've watched, these wonderful 4 teams that I got a chance to play a very small role in their young collegiate bowling lives by bringing you this action and being on the call here. Annie Hansick, she's the type of player to me that she just got heart. Oh, hook. Grace Leonard in that second position. Meanwhile, Olsen carries. It's just a much different feeling when you got a team down 0-2 than being tied 1-1. Because the mind starts to play a few tricks on you and you start doubting yourself if you're in that 0-2 position. there's the break for Marion. Every team gets at least one break a game. Maybe a spare here for Grace. All right, open frame in the second. She was in the 2, 4, 5 pin territory. Speaking of Jocelyn. But just a 2 pin here. Alexander, bang. I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with the way Alyssa Alexander has adjusted over the course of not just the mega match earlier, but now this, if necessary. The way she has handled moving on the lane. You know, she has squared up from her perspective to play the lanes much straighter, and it has worked very well. That's a good 2 pin. Boy, Jocelyn Egger, one of the top spare shooters in the CCIW. Missing a single pin there in the 4th. Can Shakira recover? Good shot. Another single pin made for Plesher. That one just hung on too. Strike here ties it up. There it is. Uh-oh, we're starting to get a little bit more noise in the building. Some parents and spectators starting to bang on tables. Here we go. Oh, substitution here. Zoe Burr back into the lineup. She replaces Addie Giddings. Aurora with a golden opportunity here, folks. Marion has missed 2 single pins in 3 frames. Tori Bartoloni was about to make a guest appearance. She was about to go down there and fix lane 30 herself. Olsen. Boy, they need Kylie here in a big way. She didn't like it. Oh, that's a really good break. Meanwhile, her lefty counterparts in trouble. She got that one left, and I talked earlier about when she made the switch to urethane, it's going to eliminate her miss room left. She got that one left pretty early, and that one had essentially no chance to get back to the 1-2. .3679 on the deck here for Ronsick. Now back to Elena. She's going to take a moment. That's a great move by Elena. Something didn't feel right. Either she was just confused on where she wanted to line up, what her target was going to be. So instead of what I like to call throwing an anyway shot, right? And we make excuses for ourselves as bowlers. We say, you know what, something didn't feel right, but I just threw it anyway. We got to stop doing that. Oh, wow. Ronsick gave it a run. We don't throw anyway shots, folks. Will the reset help? Elena. Wow. Now that's not a good break. That was the 5-pin that thought it was going to kind of roll, tip over, and take out the 4-pin. It does not. And so a 4-5. And now we've got some trouble there on lane 30 again. Tori goes running, and a full rack again on lane 30. So perhaps Tori will she is here, making sure anything that's needed is she can provide as best as she can. How about that spare? Boy, that could be the spare of the season for the Sabres. Elena, masterful 4-5 conversion. Meanwhile, Enriquez. Oh, Heidi. She can't believe it. The crumbler. Now back to Eggert. The Sabres need one in the 9th. She is officially now in that 2-pin zone. And that's not a zone you want to be in, folks. That's a tough place to be, because you feel like you're throwing good shots, but your ball reaction says otherwise. Alexander out of trouble. Right now it's a small lead for Aurora here in game 3. If you're Marion, Eggert having a quick convo with Coach Craig down there in the settee area, thinking about perhaps just what to do on this one. Obviously choppable, but I think the conversation probably more about because of what her ball is actually doing, right? And she's in the 2-pin zone. Is it going to stop hooking as it gets out of the end of the pattern, therefore coming up shy of maybe just barely clipping the 2-pin? Ideally, you like to have the ball cover each pin. She gave it a little bit of loft, which delays hook, and she nailed that. That was done to perfection right there. Very nice spare from Jocelyn Eggert. Alexander, who likes to hook at her left side spare. She's had some trouble with that. And trouble again strikes. She has had some trouble making left side spares. It's been a little bit of a nemesis for her this weekend. Some have not hooked at all, just like that one. Some have overhooked. She's chopped the 7 off of 4. That lead has now evaporated for Aurora. Oof. And now a 3-10. So Shakira could leave no doubt here. Step up and double and take a 2-1 lead. And she leaves a 3-6. Spare made. How about Plesher? Plesher 17th in regards to CCIW players in the Player Composite Performance Index. It's a big stat used for individual awards for the NCAA. Spare for Brenna Shakira. So here's the deal. Anne Marie has to throw all 3 strikes in the 10th frame for Aurora to win by 1. Anything less than that, really anything less than the first 2 at the very least, then Brenna Shakira is probably going to throw a fill shot at some point here. That one is right. And Marion's going to take game 3. Aurora has allowed now 2 games to get away from them. If you're just joining us, well, maybe no ball change there. Or at least a different, what looks to be an optimum idle. 166, 144. Aurora has lost, I mean, they could be up 3-0 right now. Anne Marie had a chance to win game 2 by getting 3 on the 1-3-6-10 leave. She got 1. The team lost by 1. A late miscue in the 8th frame on a makeable spare. And of course, essentially missing the head pin right and leaving a tough washout in the 10th frame. So Annie stepping up immediately. That one's got to see it. It's not. Zoe is going to remain in the lineup for Marion. Big shot by Zoe. Zoe Burr, the senior from Sheboygan, Michigan. There is a league There is a league going on, and it is a mystery pot time. First number, 166.
134.
Second number, 101. Third number, I believe it was 134.
142.
142. Anybody have 142? Anybody? 142?
113.
113. Does anybody have 113?
155.
How about 155? Anybody? Do we have a taker for 155? 150. We got a winner? Nope. 184. No, not this game.
131.
131. Anybody? They're trying to win a conference championship here, people. And we've got a mystery score being discussed over the PA system. Olsen, that ball's still kind of sluggish at the end of the pattern. Uh-oh, Annie. Boy, these games are really close, and it's truly coming down to the little things. Of course, obviously, what's number one? Make spares. Number two, getting count on splits. Richie, 4-7 to work with. Gotta clip it, she does. That's got to push. Haven't seen Alyssa's energy come through a ton here in this if necessary. And Aurora really feeds off her energy. Big spare, got it. Boy, you hate to say it, but Jocelyn either got to make a zone change, which I don't think she wants to do that. And so it might, again, be a ball change. Something that's just not going to kind of quit. Oh, no. Boy, Plesher had been, and quietly, having a very good if necessary match here. Made a key split, a couple of key splits, actually. Including that 310 we talked about. And what did she make? 210? Something almost 2-4-10? she takes care of the count. No, Shakira could be the one. Ruvic needs something good to happen here. The 6-10. Aurora trails by 15 pins here in this game 4. They trail in the match 2-1. They won the first game 174 to 154. Lost a heartbreaker 172 to 171, and then Marion won 166 to 144. Oh, how about Zoe? Super sub. 2 strikes here in game 4. Leading off for Marion. No, we'll take it, says Aurora University. Kylie Olson wearing number 10. It's on the left sleeve, the jersey number. A lot of bowling balls on that rack. Players got to be careful. Don't want any injuries. Olson got out of trouble. Feels like a now or never situation here in the back half for Aurora. Much better shot from Annie. Still not doing it. That was a better shot overall. And he might be looking at a ball change. This day began at 8 a.m. Central Time with the 1 versus 2 matchup, Marion versus Carroll. And in the elimination match, it was also the semifinal number 2, essentially. Marion defeated Carroll 2-0 to advance to face Aurora here in the CCIW championship match. Aurora, by virtue of being undefeated, winning both of their matches yesterday, had to be defeated twice to lose the CCIW title. Marion did defeat Aurora in the first mega match 2-0, and now we are into game 4 of the If Necessary. Open frame. That's the 3rd and 6 frames. No strikes here for Aurora. And the Elite 26 award winner, Christine Ritchie, gets something going. She cannot. And you just kind of feel the momentum moving, slipping away from the Spartans. As you look at the Sabres, right side of your screen, having some conversations amongst one another. There's some smiles. Just trying to keep one another loose as best as possible. In some cases, you know, have a conversation that does not relate to bowling. Elena Carey. There it is for the Sabres. Alexander must have. This is an important spare for Alyssa for a couple reasons. Again, we talked about she's had some trouble making left side spares. I think she just needs to see one made on that side of the lane, just so she can feel confident moving forward. Hold on. .163 still is out there for Aurora. Oh, Plesher. She's thrown it pretty good. She's done a pretty solid job overall of setting up Anne Marie. But neither team has just kind of said, I'm just going to go out there and just take it. Just going to take these games. They both have kind of traded mistakes. That's the difference right now. You know, makeable spares. Shakira. Wow. Boy, of all the things she has gone through this season, or I'm sorry, this weekend, I beg your pardon. A pocket shaker 6-pin. Just about seen it all. And for Marion, they have now won their 3rd consecutive game here in this if necessary. Aurora's got to still have belief. And if you're Marion, this is where you do huddle up and you say, listen, we will not allow this one to get past game 5. It's our moment. It's our time. Time to step up and grab the title. If you're Aurora, you got to find a way to exude some level of confidence. Oh, Anne Marie nearly made that one. Talked about total team effort for Aurora all weekend long, especially in Baker. And they have to have it here for the remainder of this match if they are to try to take it, again, one game at a time and extend this thing to 7 games. .167 to 121. And now Marion is 1 game away from returning to the NCAA championship and winning the CCIW for the 4th time in 5 years. Zoe Burr, who struck twice in the previous game. Has 3 in a row. Or 7. That is handled by Annie. It's 1 frame at a time. If you're Aurora, same philosophy for Marion. You don't want to get ahead of yourself. You don't want to kind of start thinking about hoisting the trophy until it is actually final.
Attention only, this is the 5 pin. Last call for strike pot on lane 9. Last call
Strike pot on lane 9. Last call. Ugh. Another difficult spare here for Grace Leonard. 1, 3, 6, 8. And Grace is going to grab the spare ball. Maybe for Grace, or Christine, I should say, is grabbing a spare ball. I don't know who it's for. Meanwhile, Elena carry it. The Sabres. The top seed trying to do it the hard way again for the 2nd consecutive year. Had to win in an elimination match this morning. Beat Aurora in the first mega match. And now they have a 3-1 lead in the if necessary. And Christine Ritchie comes in on behalf of Grace Leonard to make that spare. Well, you talk about maybe game or season changing type spare shooting. That's the kind of energy Aurora needs, and they got to keep it. Egger got a little bit closer to the friction down lane. Saw that one react much differently than the previous 3 to 4 shots where 2-pin, 2-4-5, 2-4-8. Again, that 2-pin zone we were talking about. Alyssa Alexander needs the energy. She feeds off of it. There it is. I like the posture and the way she came back, right? Not just the posture, but the attitude there. She was kind of reserved. Energetic, yes. Reserved more. And I think understanding what's at stake. They got a long road ahead, speaking of Aurora, if they are to battle back. Look out. Boy, for every team this weekend, this is one of those moments, one of those weekends, if this was like football, right? And you say, well, we had a tough game. We didn't play our best. It was not good. We don't even watch the film. I think some of these coaches are just like, you know what? We're just not even going to watch the film. Don't even look at the stats. Can't have mismakeables in the clinching situation. Pleshar, will it bounce? Or Pleshar, excuse me. Congratulations to the Wichita State Shockers. They won the Conference USA title in their first year in the conference. Aurora trying to hang around and win a CCIW. Oh, 4-pin wiggles. They have a small advantage at the moment. Zoe Burr, boy, she's been key these last couple of games. And that time through the nose. A difficult 3-6-9.
Touchdown won their conference. Marion and Belmont Abbey, I think, or I don't know who won Conference Carolinas, but touchdown won the
Spare here for Aurora, and just like that. Back-to-back opens now. For Aurora. Big shot there for Hansik. 3 opens as a team for Marion here in game 5. Again, Marion leads at 3-1. Aurora trying to stave off elimination and keep their season alive at least by 1 more game. Strike pod tickets. 744 was, doesn't like having a conference championship on league day. And Olsen, right as the first step was taking place, she was caught by a PA. Enriquez with a 4-7. Olsen, wow. Well, it doesn't matter if she hits a target, maybe misses a little right like she did there. The likelihood that she is going to leave a 7-pin is wild. Olsen, she's missed a 7-pin a couple today. She's been one of the better spare shooters in the CCIW. Takes care of that one. Alexander, oh, that's got to hook a ton. It does. That ball came back from Wisconsin. and struck. Wow. Boy, that could be the shot of the match if Aurora can utilize it to their advantage. They have the lead. Flesher, who's had some trouble in the last couple of shots with splits, needs her best shot here. It's right and a washout. Meanwhile, Elena, frame 8 for Marion. Just a 4-pin. Drama ensuing. Got a hook. It's 2. Max score now is 169. And Marion, it is right in front of them. The CCIW title is right there for them. They have the advantage. 2 players left. A spare in the 8th. They're pacing in the 160s right now. No matter what happens here for Anne-Marie, it is vital that she marks in the 10th frame, at least to put the team in the 150s. Big shot. There it is. Needed it. Did Anne-Marie. And now Elise applies and makes, does make Marion, of course, show up here in frames 9 and 10. Eggert, it's a little left. And the 5-9 remains. If Ruvich can double up here, it would be a situation where, assuming the spare in the 9th for Marion, Shakira would have to match Aurora here in the 10th frame. Ruvich. Bang! Anne-Marie not ready to go home yet. Boy, 2 clutch shots. Her best 10th frame. If Anne-Marie strikes, Shakira is going to need all 3 in the 10th to tie at 169. If she does not strike, it's as simple as a double and whatever necessary count to win for Shakira. Big shot on the fill. Will she bring 10? It's 8. So now it is a double and 9 to win by 1 and take the CCIW crown. Shakira. Brenna did not like it. It is through the nose, and Aurora survives. We're headed to game 6. This one takes you right back to that 136-10 in the 10th frame back in game 2. Where if Ruvich gets 3, they win that game by 1. This is a different match at this moment. But instead, it's 3 games to 2, and the slow climb for the Spartans of Aurora. This thing is not over yet. The Spartans just got to believe. Same thing if you're in the camp for the Sabres. You've got to trust what got you here. But at the end of the day, Marion, got to scratch that one out, right? They missed a couple of single pins, and that's the difference in this game. That win from Aurora stops a 3-game winning streak in this match by Marion. Coach Rich, well, I got to tell you, I know his heart rate has been up and down. Same thing with the coaching staff for Marion. My heart rate has certainly gone up here. Hansick starts with a washout. Ball simply just doesn't have enough. And Zoe had to stomp on it to get it to fall. Zoe Burr. She struck more times than not, folks, since she's been inserted into the lineup. Olsen, can she double for Marion? Yes, indeed. Early doubles matter here in Baker. Ritchie. Oof, boy, in the 9-10. Well, she came in and made a 1-3-6-8 on behalf of Grace Leonard in the previous game in frame 2. Now has to make a 9-10. We saw a 4-5 made earlier from Elena Rimmer of Marion. It's online. Oh, great effort. Boy, Marion looking now for more and to try to pour it on here. Game number 6. They lead it 3-2. Just dropped game 5 if you're just joining us. Elena. Toss is over. That's a good lead, just a 3-pin. Ball got a peel. Carry. There it is. There's that energy from Alyssa Alexander. Sabres with the advantage. Came out with an early double. It's exactly what you want to do in this situation, especially after the 2 opens for Aurora. Emily Plesher, after a really good start, been bowling pretty well throughout the day. She's had some trouble with ball reaction as of late. Lane starting to hook on her a little bit. Oh, the 6 into the 10. And Aurora with their first double here in game 6. What a match. What a conference. Tell you, shout out to D3 athletes. Eggert. That was close to a 2-8-10. Well, you talking about maybe blowing the roof off the bowling center right here. If Anne-Marie strikes and puts a 3-bagger in front of Annie Hansick, it could go down here, folks. Here it is. Bang! All of a sudden, Aurora with 3 in a row. And Annie Ronsick went down to get a reactive piece of equipment. She is going to make the change from urethane to reactive. This could be the change of the match right here. Should Aurora hold on and go on to win? We'll see how it plays out here in a moment. Meanwhile, that one did not get up the hill. First open frame for Marion. The benefit for Marion, right? Jocelyn struggled a little bit, but you still got Brenda Shakira as your anchor, and you feel so confident in her. Ronsick makes the move to reactive. Crosses over. Four in a row for the Spartans. Shakira, will she get it back? No. Christine Ritchie. Get some instruction from Rich McElmeal. Ritchie from Atonica, Illinois, 5'9" sophomore out of LaSalle Peru High School. Looking for 5 in a row, nearly fell over, and a 4-7. That right there, a little bit of an adrenaline rush. All right, those steps get a little faster. You get to the line a little bit quicker than normal. So you got to take a couple of extra deep breaths, slow down the heart rate, get back to that pre-shot routine. She wastes no time. You got to hang on. Takes the 7 off the 4. Boy, momentum is such a tricky thing. It can certainly be the best thing and also be the worst thing because you can kind of get out of what you normally do. It's easy to get out of your comfort zone when the momentum's on your side. You kind of want to get up there. You want to keep the train rolling. You don't want to be the person to not strike. Alexander taking some time, but Zoe Burr about to step up. Of course, Aurora about a frame and a half ahead now. Here's Burr. That one immediately took off and made a left turn. Alexander, does she have another one? There it is. Well, she turned her back early. The 8-pin was still standing when Alyssa turned around. It fell late. It reminded me actually of Judson University's Chloe Ciziga at the Hoosier Classic when she had the game-winning and really tournament-winning, I should say, shot. She had a late pin stand up. It was a 4-pin. It was standing. She had a kind of a premature celebration. Or was it an 8-pin? I don't remember that. But it was exactly what we just saw there. Alyssa turns around early. The team is still watching to ensure that the pin falls. And finally it does. So Aurora in business, trying to force a game 7. Zoe, and she takes the 5. I'm sorry, the 9-pin off the 5. I beg your pardon. Now to Plesher, trying to keep the train rolling. And a washout again. Boy, if you're an Aurora fan, your team has done just about everything they could do with this game. But you got to have a slash on the board. Plain and simple. Because Marion still with plenty of frames left to win this. 223 is their max. And now split for Olsen. She got count. Let's give Olsen 1 pin here. All right, so that's 112 in the 7th with 3 bowlers left. They still have 202 out there. Anne-Marie wastes 0 time. It's a similar situation to what we just talked about in the last game. Anne-Marie can step up and throw 2. It's going to force a lot of hard work in frames 8, 9, and 10 for Marion. And a 10 pin. So now the best Aurora can do is 182. Marion is pacing in the 170s. Elena, big shot here. Crosses over, oh my gosh! Oh! The 6 and the 10 fall. Could that be all Marion needs? Jocelyn Eggert. Boy, if she doubles here and gives it to Brenda Shakira with a double in front of her, it's hard to bet against that. Eggert for a lead. 2-8. Must have spare situation for Anne-Marie. First team all CCIW. Got the spare ball out. It's right. It's right. And it's right onto the 10 pin. Now to Eggert. She missed the 2-8 on the same lane a few games ago. Only taking the 8 pin from the 2-8 combo. Handles it. And now, just like in the previous game, tie possibility. If Anne-Marie strikes, Shakira will need to step up and throw all 3 in the 10th to tie at 182. Need at least 9 here. 10 would be great. And she gets 7. Okay. 179. Two strikes and 7 pins from Brenda Shakira here in the 10th frame. And Marion will win the CCIW championship. Anything less than that, well, 2 strikes and 6 would be a tie at 179. 2 strikes and 5, and we're going to game 7. First shot for Brenna. Oh! Off the sidewall. The 6 into the 10. Boy, this is difficult. Shakira, who has battled and battled and battled all weekend, has not been herself, certainly in the traditional, specifically on the fresh, has gotten better as the matches have gone on. That looked like a wrap 10 for about 2 seconds. 6 into the sidewall, perfectly into the 10. Gotta have another one, though. Marion needs it. Bucket. We're going to game 7. Marion, as the top seed, has choice of which lane they want to finish on. Well, how about this, folks? You thought after Aurora had allowed game 2 to slip away, and to some degree game 3, that Marion may have had everything they needed. Instead, Aurora showing a ton of heart, a ton of resolve, grind, grit, and everything in between to move this thing to a game 7. And truly, it is now winner take all. Told you what's going to be the difference. It's going to come down to spare shooting no matter what. And Aurora, who had no spares until the 10th frame, right? They had the big 4-bagger, but surrounded by open frames. It took a spare, a 10-pin conversion from Anne-Marie Ruvich. $179 to $172. Looks like the coaches have decided which team, I beg your pardon. Marion looks like they have decided which lane they're going to choose. Looks like they're going to stay on the right lane. So here it is, folks. There is no tomorrow. Winner wins the conference title and the automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. Here we go. Maybe not, because 101 is still the mystery number or the strike pot or whatever in God's name is happening down there. 170. Good Lord. However, this sounds like a league I need to bowl, because if I can get a couple strike pot tickets, even though I don't bowl as much as I used to, I feel confident in my ability to surpass some of these numbers. So maybe my ticket might get called, or my mystery score could get called. Okay, so the last time we saw Annie Ronsick here, she had made the switch to reactive and she went Brooklyn. Put a little extra ball speed on it. It holds. Ooh, and a fast 8. Okay, you can make an adjustment off that. She can open up maybe a couple boards, right? Just a couple. Got to be careful. Zoe Burr looks like she is going to remain in the lineup for Marion. Folks, how about this? Game 7. This is the winner take all for real now. One game to decide a champion. Zoe. AB and the 5-7 to start. If you're Annie, this is a situation, hey, take care of business on your spare. That's got to hook a lot, and it is not. When your opponent gives you an opportunity, you have to take advantage. You have to. I noticed that she switches to a different ball to shoot right side spares. She might want to maybe stay with that first ball. Looks like it hooks just a little bit more. Ritchie. Can she help her teammates? She can. Christine Ritchie. Big strike in frame number 2. I got a feeling Zoe's going to make this here. Marion just might erupt, especially the fans here. They've traveled well from Wisconsin. Oh, it's online. Oh. Of course, if you're watching, you see the 9 count on the scoreboard. It's certainly all the same here. 8-1 is still 9. Meanwhile, Alexander. The Spartans. Aurora coming to life. Olsen. That's a good break. Here's the player for Aurora in that setup position. Emily hasn't had a good look of late. That's got to hook a ton, hook a ton. She's still in that washout zone. She's either got to make a parallel move left to get closer to the head pin, or she has to parallel right and play the lane straighter to catch the friction earlier. She is kind of right in the middle, and that's what we saw a lot of yesterday during multiple matches, and not just from Aurora, but every team kind of got caught in that funnel in the track to where there was just nothing happening in that zone. No track kind of developed. You anticipate some kind of hook because it's a 34-foot lane condition, but it's 2 point, I think what it was, 3-6 to 1 or something along those lines, so super flat. It's going to come down to spare shooting, folks. Who's going to make the most? Big spare there. The question will be when it is Emily's turn again. At frame 9, when she's going to have to set up her teammate, Anne-Marie, for the 10th frame. Will she have the right look to the 1-3, or any look for that matter? You know the 10th frame is going to come down to it. Elena. Maybe. Whoa, what in the world is that? Well, that's an interesting leave right there. It's supposed to be a 2-4. It looks more like a 2-8, and the 8 pin is kind of moved to the left. Meanwhile, Anne-Marie. Oh, tripped the 4. I got to give Anne-Marie a lot of credit because she stuck with it. And near the end of that mega match, she was pissed off. This is me saying this. I did not confirm she was pissed, but she looked pissed. And she brought down the IQ Emerald, which is this green ball that she has been throwing. And of the equipment that she has thrown throughout this weekend, to me, especially when it matters most, which, as we've been watching, it has, obviously. She has been the most confident she has been throughout the weekend, with an understanding of, at least if I do this or if I throw it here, this is what I am anticipating to happen, and I'm based on what's going down. She has been correct between her and Coach Rich making that decision. Whoever's decision it was, players got to buy in. Maybe it was her own decision, whatever the case may be. But during this best of 7, she has looked like an all CCIW first team member. Look out. Nicely done. Didn't quite stick the landing, did Elena. Okay. Big moment here for Annie. Will she give it a little bit of room? She will, and just enough. She needed just a little bit of angle, folks, as we just talked about. It flirted with the gutter. She probably didn't feel great about that, considering she had thrown a few gutters already in this tournament. All you need is just a little bit of hook. Can Eggert match? No, and a 10 pin. So now if you're Marion, this is where you got to draw simply on your team principles. Believe in oneself. Let's continue to be Marion. We still got to bowl our own game, right? You see what the opponent is doing, but we know we still have an opportunity to win, and that's what we're rolling with. Can't get caught up in what the opponent is doing. It's difficult, too, especially as a player in the situation as you watch it happen, because sometimes things like that happen. And your opportunities to get back in the game, they sprout throw a little water on it, maybe a little grass seed, and they sprout up the opportunities back toward the end of the game. Hold on. Look out. Well, Jocelyn Eggert is one of the best spare shooters in the conference. I'd have to think this might be the highest amount of spare or miss spares, mismakeable that she's had maybe all season here this weekend. Marion missed 2 single pins in the previous game. Good count there for Richie. Max score now is 220 for Aurora. 5th frame, Shakira. Can she get it going? And the 2-pin. Boy, everybody now for Marion looks to be kind of in this 2-pin zone. This is the final shot here for Alexander. You know if she strikes, it's going down with the energy. That ball's got to peel. Peel. 2-8. Alyssa is a graduate student. This spare opportunity could be her final shot as a member of the Aurora Spartans. It's either going to end here today at the CCIW, which means that Marion will take home the title, or if you're Alyssa, it will continue into the NCAA tournament as the automatic qualifier from the CCIW. If you are just joining us, this is the winner-take-all Game 7 of the If Necessary. This day began at 8 a.m. Central Time. Marion defeated Carroll in an elimination match. Marion, of course, then moved on to face Aurora, who was undefeated. Marion defeated Aurora in the first mega match, which brings us to this If Necessary best of 7, and we are into Game 7. Zoe Burr. Gotta get it going for Marion, and she does. Zoe Burr has been excellent, minus that whiff single pin there in frame 1. I'm sorry, that was a 5-7, I beg your pardon. But minus the miscue, she has been so good. Alexander makes them both. She had so much trouble with left side spares and hooking at them, handles that one. Maybe the most important spare of her career. There's still 225 remaining for Marion. So this one is far from being decided. It is going to be in the hands of Marion no matter what Aurora does. The Sabres still control their own destiny. And Olsen, big double. This is arguably the most important shot here. If Emily Felser, can set up Anne Marie, that's got a hook. Oh, 4-pin. It's the best shot, though, she's had in a few frames. Elena in frame 8. 2 missed single pins early. I'm sorry, the missed single pin and the split. See, that's what happens when you don't change the score, right? Because you got broadcasters who refer back to the scoreboard to remind the people watching what has happened. That should be, it was a split for Zoe in frame 1. Missed single pin from Eggert in the 4th. Now a double. Could it be a triple? There it is. Here come the Sabres. Emily has it. Now I got to tell you, if I was Aurora, I would wait a frame. Just kind of see exactly what the situation is going to be. One good shot here. And the Sabres could be possibly to the postseason. Eggert fell out of it. Oh, there it is. She fell completely out of that one. And that shot there for Jocelyn Eggert just may have done it. Oh my goodness. Anne Marie. Oh, she gave a little look over to Marion. She said, hold on a minute. I'm going to make Brenda Shakira show up. Shakira for the CCIW championship. 7. All right, let's do the quick math here. $190 is the best they can do. It's in the hands of Anne Marie. She has to strike. Ruvich through the nose. This one's still not over yet. Two is the number. And that is all that Marion needed. It was essential. One could have possibly been a tie. Marion has won the CCIW championship. That was one of those you had to wait on it, folks. Do the quick math. You don't want to make a mistake there. $190 to $189 in Game 7. Wow. Holy smokes. Well, there are a lot of tears. There is joy. There is sadness. Wow. Shakira needed to get 2 on a 2-8-10. Anne Marie needed to strike on the second shot in the 10th to win the CCIW title. What a moment. Wow. We will keep it here, folks. I assume there will be a trophy presentation. Boy, that is, man. Aurora literally left it all out there on the lanes. And they were essentially pins away. 2 in this case. to take home the CCIW crown. Whew. I got to tell you, I don't even know how Aurora is smiling right now. I give them a lot of credit. Aurora is smiling. They're taking photos. I don't know how they're doing it.
At this time, we welcome CCIW Associate Executive Director
That
Brian
was
Moore
about
to
as
today's
stressful as you
awards
can ever get.
presentation. The CCIW would like to thank the athletic staff of Elmhurst University and Suburban I Bowl for hosting this year's CCIW Championship. Let's give them a round of applause. We would like to recognize the student athletes and coaches from Aurora University, this year's runner-ups, on a great match and season.
Definitely give it up for Aurora.
Now for the presentation of the 2025 CCIW.
Marion has won the title,
At
and
this
they are
time,
headed
we
back
ask
to the
Marion
NCAA
captains to
tournament.
step forward and receive the championship plaque. The Sabres won the CCIW championship and the conference's automatic bid to the NCAA championship.
Jocelyn Eggert and Brenda
Congratulations to
Shakira.
Marion University, the
Tears of
2025
joy.
CCIW Women's Bowling Champions.
Eggert, a senior. Shakira, a senior. Zoe Burr, a senior. Boy, they hung on by a thread.
Show the Hawaiians.
CCIW Conference Champions. T-shirts, banners. We don't know if we'll have hats. Aurora came as close as you can to knocking off the CCIW power known as Marion University in Wisconsin. They came down to count on a 2-8-10, essentially a non-strike because Anne Marie still had control of the Aurora Destiny. Buried the first 3-6-10 on the second shot. The count could have gone either way. But securing the 2, of course, is what was most important. Now the T-shirts are rocking and rolling. and they are headed to the NCAA tournament. More than likely, they will be at the Lansing Regional one more time.
I wasn't here when you got it.
Couple more pictures here. Congratulations to, again, Marion, the CCIW champions. Congrats to the runner-up, Aurora. Congrats to Carroll, as well as Elmhurst for advancing to the conference tournament this year. Thanks to Matt Hoff and Tori Bartoloni, head coach for Elmhurst, and the entire Elmhurst athletics department for handling business here. With that, folks, a lot of shock. There's some people in the building still in shock about what just took place. But what is not a shock is that Marion has essentially been the class of the CCIW, and now they have won it the 4th time in 5 years. The only other winner outside of Marion has been, of course, Carthage and Aurora. Aurora and Marion tied in 2022 for the title. Same thing with Carthage and Marion in 2023. So they have won, or at least had a share, in every year except, actually, it's been every year that we go back to that history. How about that? They have won the title, of course, outright in its current format in the previous 2 seasons. All right, folks, it's been a fun ride. I appreciate you hanging out with us. If you are following Marion and, of course, the CCIW representative in the NCAA tournament, there is a very good chance that they will be placed into the Lansing Regional. All 4 regionals will be live streamed on BowlTV.com. I actually will be at the Lansing Regional on behalf of BowlTV.com. So if Marion is there, I will be there as well, and I look forward to hanging out with you yet again. Congratulations again to Marion of Wisconsin. They win the CCIW and get the conference's automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. I want to thank Matt Hoff, of course, the Director of Athletic Communications at Elmhurst. Thanks to Sean Washington, our head official this week. Big thank you to every coach, all of our schools, Marion, Carroll, Aurora, and Elmhurst, the entire athletic department, staff, faculty, of course, from Elmhurst, gracious hosts. Big thank you to Suburbanite Bowl here in Westmont, Illinois, as well. Until next time, we say so long for now. My name is Emil Williams Jr. Congrats again to Marion, CCIW Conference Champions. This has been a presentation of the CCIW Conference Tournament. Watch it live and only on the Elmhurst Blue Jays Sports Network. Have a great night.